Let's say you're not happy with your life, you want to change some things in your life, like go find the right people that are going to help you level up your life in those areas that you want to. I think that's so important because once you see your friends, like, oh wow, like she's doing this, she's doing that, then you kind of start looking at yourself like, like I want to also do better in this area.
The purpose and mission of the show is to help individuals thrive in all areas of their lives. For this episode, we are going deep into the importance of sisterhood, being intentional with the friendships and relationships you have in your life, as well as sharing our own personal experiences and lessons while navigating through different seasons and chapters. So please help me welcome one of my best friends to the Thrive podcast, Ashley Almanzar. Ashley is a registered nurse with over 10 years of working with oncology patients and helping them heal in their diagnosis. Alongside her medical career, she has also invested in real estate and has been an Airbnb host since 2020. Some of the best things about Ashley is how she shows up in the lives around her. She is a daughter, a sister, a proud girlfriend, and truly the ultimate girl's girl. I'm so lucky to have her in my life, and I can't wait to get into this conversation with her today. Thank you for coming to the show. Okay, so my love, welcome to the Thrive podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here.
So excited to be here. I can't believe this is actually happening.
I know, in this gorgeous space.
It's beautiful.
I am just so happy with the sunlight. It's a beautiful day, you guys, today. So it's honestly pretty meant to be. We have been talking about this for such a long time, and just the fact that we are in production is just insanity to me, and it's just honestly a dream come true. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I went a little bit on the intro, and I kind of spoke about what this conversation and episode is going to be about, and it's going to be about obviously not just our friendship, but just the importance of sisterhood and having really genuine, intentional relationships in our lives. Because I feel like, the whole purpose and mission of this podcast is to help people thrive. And that can mean so many different things. So you can thrive in business, in life, in your health, in your spirituality, in your mindset, in your finances. And we're going to really touch base on all of those things in this podcast. But specifically today, I really wanted to talk about, what a healthy friendship and relationship is and how that can really shape your life. So I'm just really happy to get into it with you.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Of course. So Ashley, I gave them a little intro about you. I guess we can talk about like how we started, like how this relationship blossomed, where we both were in our lives, how it kind of just, how we met really. So do you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So we actually met on social media, funny enough.
True.
I was scrolling on Instagram and her Instagram popped up for me. And at the time she's a nurse. We're both nurses. So she was talking about how she had started a business and had all this flexibility. And, me being the business oriented person that I am was like, okay, kind of engaging with her content. And then we just decided to meet up one day for coffee. And the relationship really did start off very business like.
Yes.
I signed up to be a part of her team and, it kind of just started there. And then, at that point in my life, I was just getting out of a long-term relationship, and I was just kind of looking to, heal and improve my life. And at that time, I also was buying my last investment. And so I had a lot going on. But I was like, you know what, let me dive into this. And, she was a great mentor. And it just slowly progressed into a really beautiful friendship, which I'm so, so grateful for.
Yeah.
And I will forever cherish, everything, that how we met and the fact that when aligned us together. I feel like, God really knew what he was doing.
God knew what he was doing, girl.
When we both, when we met
And we always say that we feel like we've lived 52 chapters in just 3 years because we only know each other. I think in April, it might be coming into 3 years.
Yeah.
And we've gone through so much together, so much healing, so much traveling,
Yeah.
so much like business together,
Yeah.
growing our network, our community,
Events.
just building our skill set,
Mm-hmm.
events, everything. That it's just insane that it's only been 3 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
It does not feel like 3 years. So yeah, so okay, so yeah, so that's kind of how like our friendship kind of started. It really wasn't like a friendship at first. To be honest, I wasn't looking for new friends.
Mm-hmm.
We were really just, like Ashley said, I was really growing my team. I was in sales, so at the time, I saw that Ashley was approaching me, and actually our first encounter, I think like I don't know if you came super late or something like that.
I had like,
and I was like, what, this girl?
it was like,
It was a rough start, I think.
yeah.
It was a rough first date. That's all it was.
It was not a good first impression.
Yes, yes.
I had a rough
So
night.
the fact that it just blossomed into what it is today, I'm just like, God really knew what he was doing. And it's been such a beautiful journey. And I like, my wish at the end of this episode is that for women to really take a look at who's in their inner circle. What values are important to them, and the people that they invest their time and their energy to, and really see how important friendship and sisterhood and community is. Because like I said, at the time, I didn't know that I needed you.
Right. And I didn't know that I needed her either.
And I was not looking for it. Like I'm very business oriented, very like I was very okay with my inner circle. I was very comfortable. And you really showed a really beautiful side of you. And I was like, I guess I'll give in. So that's kind of like how our friendship kind of started. I guess we can talk about a little bit about in the between, what we've been doing in the past like 3 years that have really shaped who we are today. I think like we have so much, like our travels, our business ventures, our health journey.
Yeah.
If you want to go over that.
So I think like maybe we can start off like with like our events. Like we were hosting events like monthly, like all of 2023 maybe. And I feel like, for example, me, I come from like a healthcare background. I didn't really have the skills that I have today. And, I think that they're all really like due to everything that we've done together.
100%.
Like hosted events monthly, networked, we've made so many great connections with people. And, that's something that like, I feel like it was kind of like a very like self-discovery like year for me or like journey for me, this whole business venture, because I discovered that about me, that I'm really good in social settings, that I like to network, that I like to meet women that have the same like
are like-minded
or like business oriented, ambitious. So that definitely helped me grow as a person. And I feel like also for Jalissa as well. And going through that together, like, literally, like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that feeling, to be honest. Like going through that journey together, seeing ourselves like grow,
get uncomfortable. I think that's what we've gotten
so uncomfortable and like be, like push through it and be successful. Because I think that we have had like really great events and we've had great connections, and women have approached us like, oh my God, like when are you hosting the next event? Like they really enjoyed coming to our events. I think that growing in that aspect has been like life-changing.
Yeah, very life-altering for sure. We've also gone through a lot of travels. We've also gone through heartbreak together. As Ashley stated, at first, when she first approached me, she was going through a breakup from a long-term relationship. Little did I know, a few months later, I started also going through a really tough time in my own relationship. And I feel like, I don't know if you've heard of this saying, like hurt people. And I feel like what was so different about our friendship was that, like, yes, we were hurting in our own sense, in our own personal life, but we never brought that to the table, and we never brought that to our business. We never brought that to the people around us.
Right.
And we were very, we were really there for each other. And I feel like that's where sisterhood is so important. And I feel like, honestly, even in healthy masculinity too.
Yeah.
I feel like I've healed so much of myself that I'm just like, now I'm surrounded by even healthy men, and I love seeing that, because it's like it feels very safe, and it feels very honestly very cool, like to have like men around your life, like whether that's a connection or of a friend, and like, it's beautiful to see that there's like healthy people in our circle,
Right.
Who've worked through their own traumas, worked through their own stuff, and they're still showing up, So we've gone through a little bit of that together as well. Our fitness journey. So I think at the beginning of like 2024 or 2023, with everything that was going on, I went through a kind of like a little bit of a health scare. And that's when I kind of really shifted and started pivoting to like really focus on my health.
Right.
So that I think that was like in September of 2023, after we came back from California.
Yeah.
I started the gym, and I had trainers, and they're incredible. I was I've always been into fitness. I've always been into health, but because of what was going on, I think it just really started to impact me. A few months later, you joined. So I feel like that's the power of what like healthy habits, routines, having healthy people around you who just like motivate you and inspire you. Like, and I just love seeing your journey too, because I was like, look at her. And we've gone through really like tough workouts together. Like our workouts are not like easy peasy. Like it's like high rocks.
It's like boot camp.
It's like boot camp 4 times, 5 times a week. So for me to see you just like, I know you were uncomfortable at first, and just to see you glow up, and you look good, girl, body on T.
Thank you.
So just witnessing that and knowing that maybe I had a little bit of, to do with that, and just like honestly, even like the harder workouts where I'm just like, you know what, I have to be there for Ashley, or like I have to be there for myself, like, accountability. So I think in a really beautiful friendship, accountability is so important. And like if a relationship is genuine, they don't want you to go also down, and they'll hold you accountable.
Right.
So that's that. I really love that little fitness journey that we went to. We also started therapy.
Yes. We did. We've done a lot.
Honestly, our standards have changed. That's one thing we're going to talk about also. So you want to talk a little bit about therapy or anything like that?
So I remember like when I was really going through it, this was probably back in like 2023, like obviously like I would like tell her like how I was feeling, or like if I was having a rough day, and like she was really the person that was like, hey babe, you know what? Like I really think you need to speak to somebody and like start therapy.
We're not gonna cry.
We're not gonna cry. But yeah, like so I feel like, like a real true friends like will do that, will push you to do that, like will want the best for you in that way. And like honestly, like it was like the best decision ever. And ever since I did my little program, and I, completed that, like at the end of the day, like the person I am today and the person that I was when I finished that program to the person that I was when I first met Jalissa, like I'm a completely different person. And it's just been like the most beautiful journey, like alongside her, and just
and her going to therapy actually pushed me to go to therapy.
Yeah. She saw
accountability.
She saw the change.
I really did see the change.
Yeah. The peace.
The peace.
Yeah.
That you're resonating. And you were just moving in alignment, which was really beautiful to see. And again, that pushed me and inspired me to do therapy.
Right.
I was kind of telling everyone to do therapy.
But herself.
But myself. I knew it was coming, but I knew it was coming. And I finally got the courage and the strength to do it. And
it's not easy.
And it's been life altering and life like very, very helpful.
Yeah.
So So going into that, 2024 January, we did a very big pivot in our lives. I kind of not shut myself off from social media, but I did take a little bit of a pause and a little bit of a break. I was very confident in what I already created. So I knew that it would be there waiting for me when I came back. But that, I think all of 2024 really focused on our healing journey, and we really focused on our faith journey. And you really also had your own, we did our vision board in December of 2023. And that was epic, you guys, because you guys, this podcast was on that vision board.
It was.
I think even the like very similar aesthetic. Yeah. It looked like this almost, like literally.
I still have it.
And so we did our vision board in December of 2023. January came, we started going to church together. Yeah. And then that's how our little, like, honestly, our path and our walk with God started. So I really want us to really get, we're sharing all of this because, like, we want to show you guys, like, what it is, like, friendship is an action. I think love is an action too. And I think there's so much on social media about, having minimal friends, like not having to do, like, not really putting the effort into friendships, and those are the ones that last long. And I see where they're coming from. Right. But at the end of the day, if you treated your relationship that way, or, your relationship with your mother or a sister or sibling, someone that you really cared about, or your job, and it was minimal effort and minimal action, it's just gonna not thrive. It's not going to grow. So we're really sharing all these parts of our lives and chapters and seasons and things that we did together, because love is an action. Friendship is an action. And if we didn't do all of these actionable steps, we wouldn't be where we are today. Correct. So we started going to church in January of 2023, 24. And that, you guys, was life-changing. I think I actually got baptized in August of 2024. We've been very consistent going to church every Sunday, whether you go by yourself or, with Dacio, I go by myself, or with a friend. We're just with that consistency, and then, I got baptized in August of 2024. And I think, I don't know if you want to say anything regarding our walk with God and our faith journey.
I just feel like it's been such a beautiful journey. When I just remember, like, the first day we went together.
I remember the first day. It was waterworks for me. I didn't know what to, like, expect.
It was.
The moment I walked in, you got there before me. Yeah. I got there afterwards. Yeah. The moment I walked into that, I didn't know what worshiping was. I didn't know what worship music was. I really had no idea what I was walking myself into. I walk in, and it was just the energy in that room. Like, I felt things I never really felt. It was like a whole experience.
It was.
The moment I got in the room, I just started crying. Like, I was just crying. I was not expecting that. I was literally crying. I saw you sitting down with, I think we went with your friend too. And it was like, I cannot see, like, my life be any different, to be honest. Yeah. So
yeah. It was a beautiful experience to watch her get baptized. And I just feel like, I don't know, like, I'm just so at peace. And I think the biggest lesson for me is just, like, in the past, I've wanted to kind of, like, I always have a vision, and, like,
you're a girl with a plan.
I'm a girl with a plan, yes. But I've learned to kind of just let God do his thing and just trust him. And I think that's, like, the biggest thing that I've kind of taken from it, and kind of just, like, last year, I was just kind of like, okay, God, like, you show me the way, like, you lead the way for me. And he's very much showed up for me in the past year since I began my journey. And, being able to, like,
connect
to
on that level.
To connect on that level really has beautiful. Been, exactly.
Friend. Yes. Okay, so basically at some point, we both even recognize and realize that a healthy friendship like the one that we've developed was pretty much orchestrated by God himself,
Yeah.
because there's no way that we both were going through such difficult, rough times and painful times in our lives. And again, we didn't take it out on each other. It was very much so like, girl, I got you.
Right. Just being there for one another.
I remember one day you told me like, I'm here for forever. You're my ride or die. And I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But when you said it, I was like, I really believe it. Like, I really, really believe it. And that's because there's action behind that. Right. So yeah, I think it's been a really interesting and beautiful journey. So yeah, I have a few notes just to keep us on point.
Yes.
And I think that a very important lesson that we both took from this friendship, and I want people to also, again, reflect on their own inner circle, reflect on who they're investing their time with. Like,
Right.
Are your friends, are your relationships, are they raising the standards for who you're becoming?
Yeah.
You know, this is something that her and I also discuss, and it's like, girl, you raise the standards for me. Like, you raise the standards, like, we raise the standards for friendships.
Yeah.
We raise the standards for our each other, and even in like personal, like romantic relationships. Like, I don't know about you, but Ashley loves me in all her 5 love languages. And now I'm like, I can't just be receiving nothing from these people, you know, like whoever comes my way. But you know, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But it's like, it makes you really, it worked on my psyche, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it really raised the bar and raised the standards for whoever comes into our lives. And like, you know, these are my new standards.
Right.
I'm okay with that. This is what I'm supposed to be receiving from the universe, from the people around me. Because there are people who are able to willingly give you that.
Right.
But yeah, do you have anything to say about that?
I agree with everything that you're saying. I think that like you said, like we really leveled up in every aspect of our lives. And we've grown so much together, and we have really set the standard for like ourselves personally, you know, with our fitness journey, our faith journey, like every department. So that kind of sets the bar as to like, this is what I'm willing to give myself, and this is what I do for myself. To allow somebody else to come into your life, you know, whether that's a friend, whether that's like a romantic relationship, like that's it.
It's not going down.
It has to be above that level.
Yeah.
And I think that we've done a great job at like, you know, allowing new friendships to come, you know, that have met those standards.
And, also, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And romantic relationships as well.
Yes. Okay, so I jotted down some questions. We have some questions in regards to friendship. So what do you think most people struggle with when it comes to sustaining long-term friendships, or even making new friendships? Like, what do you feel, especially maybe in this digital era, like what do you feel most people kind of struggle with when it comes to friendship?
I think that the digital era makes it hard. A lot of people are not going outside and meeting people in person.
That's true.
I'm the kind of girl that like, I have to meet somebody in person to make a connection with them. So I think that like just getting outside of your house and, you know, making an effort to just connect with somebody like on a genuine level, I think that's so important. And I think, you know, like going to the gym, making friends at the gym, making friends with people that, you know, have similar interests to you, whether that's the gym, whether that's meeting somebody at a coffee shop, whether that's like a networking event, and just kind of like making an effort to sustain a relationship. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know, this could maybe apply to like somebody that you just met, but I think even like in like regular relationships, like regular friendships, like a friend that you've had for a long time, like effort is everything. You know, and just all it does is take one phone call, one text message. Hey, let's catch up. Like, you know, I have friends that like I don't see for months, but whenever, we keep up on Instagram or like DMs or
Yeah.
text message or phone call. Hey, how are you? Let's meet up for like lunch, coffee, whatever it is. Like, I think that it has to be a mutual effort.
Yes,
I think
yes,
that's the
yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for like a friendship to like fall off if both people aren't trying to keep up with it,
Yeah.
So I think that it has to be mutual for
Yeah.
sure.
I think I love that you mentioned that because I feel like I've seen that so many times, and I've
Yeah.
I've actually encountered conversations like this with other women too. And just regular conversation, never talking about my own personal experiences, our personal experience. And it's such a common denominator where people just feel, whether it's because of the digital era, people are kind of just constantly kind of wrapped up in their phone and like what is going on from behind the screen, and and losing touch with,
Meeting somebody
humanity.
in person. Yeah,
Like being
humanity.
human.
Yeah.
I feel like getting lost, people are getting lost in that aspect.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've done such a good job in making sure that we try not to lose that, because we've already seen how impactful it can be just from actually making a one-to-one connection, a human interaction. And I just feel like, communication.
Right.
I feel like that is so important because like what you said, like you can lose touch with a friend for a few months, life is busy,
Right.
But I think especially sustaining those long-term friendships, I feel like just communication, vulnerability, I feel like that's a big one. I feel like, especially like with me at the beginning, I have to kind of test you out a little bit. I'm not someone who's like, I'm willing to not give it my all, but I'm not willing to give you all parts of me until
you get to know the person.
I get to know you.
Right.
So I feel like vulnerability is such an important thing to actually create a meaningful friendship or connection.
Right.
Because sometimes we try to kind of like gate ourselves, yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's super important. So what do you think is a recipe for a successful friendship? And how can you advise our listeners to take the first step towards building meaningful connections? I feel like you've spoken about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Go out, go to the coffee shop, go to the group workout, go to a networking event,
go to Pilates,
meet your people, in the places where you are more aligned with.
Right.
So what do you think is the recipe for a successful friendship?
Definitely, like you said, communication. Like I also mentioned, like mutual.
You have to have both parties.
Want to participate in a friendship. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
Right.
Vulnerability, like you said. I think just making an effort. I think, just making an effort and just showing up for one another. Like if your friend is going through something, hey, like just reaching out. I don't know, just trying, honestly. Like
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Action.
Love that. Okay. Obviously, we've kind of discussed this again, but what role has friendship or intentional connections played in shaping your own personal life and your professional life as well?
So, like I feel like Jalissa, for me, like in the beginning of our relationship, like we were like more like a business relationship. So like she was very much like a mentor to me. But then as we grew a friendship, she was just kind of like, I feel like just having her was very much kind of like, like a role model. Like I did look up to her for a very long time. And then we were able to kind of just, I don't know, like I feel like she really made me, because when I met her, like I was like not in the right space. I needed to grow in so many aspects of my life. So she really helped me like level up in so many areas that like I didn't realize that I needed work, or I didn't even realize that I wanted to change these parts of my life.
Yeah.
So
I guess like really good, healthy relationships can like maybe mirror things that you want in your life also. Maybe. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that like if you are in the right circle, let's say you're not happy with your life, you want to change some things in your life, like go find the right people that are going to help you level up your life in those areas that you want to. I think that's so important because once you see your friends, you know, like, oh wow, like she's doing this, she's doing that, then you kind of start looking at yourself like, like I want to also do better in this area.
You do also have to work on yourself. So I think I spoke about this with like my other guests, and we were saying like start with yourself. If you're in a very low place in your life, start with yourself, work with yourself and God, and obviously like change your circle, like and now analyze like where your environment. Maybe you're in a household where it's not very healthy, you know, it's a little toxic, and you know, maybe you have to get out there and really surround yourself by people who are embracing and living out the type of lifestyle that you want, right? Or doing the habits that you want to do, the routines that you want to do, and really start truly embodying it and really realize that honestly, it's not going to be you're not going to change from one day to the next.
No, it's a journey.
This is a journey. This is a process. But I think starting there is so important, like being very, very conscious of what you value. I feel like this is something that I've learned so much through therapy. And it's like really getting reconnected to myself because I feel like I needed to go to therapy because it helped me kind of reconnect with who I am now, not who I was before.
Right.
And I really had to be like, you know what? Like, that's why none of this is making sense to me. I'm no longer this person.
Right.
You know, like I have to let go of who I used to be in order to be walking into the person that I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Right. Whether you have to shed anything, anyone, like any habits. So yeah, I think that was really, really helpful. Yeah.
Just starting from within, like working on yourself, starting from within.
Yeah. So that's it for me. I don't know if you have anything to say to our audience, to our listeners. I do want people to go and follow you. Maybe they want to connect with you, have some questions over anything. Maybe there's something that they're going through, or maybe some real estate questions, a little bit of Airbnb questions, anything like that. Do you know your handle?
Yeah, it's ASH.
We are gonna share it in the show notes.
Yeah, so. It's ASH_LAYRN. And yeah, I'm welcoming all questions, any real estate questions,
networking questions,
any Airbnb questions, any networking questions.
Yeah.
That's it, guys.
Thank you so much, my love. I love you so much.
Gotta give you a hug.
I love you. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time.